Namaskar. Now, today we are going to celebrate the 2566 birthday of Lord Buddha. Dharmam Saranam Gacchami, Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. So today we have invited the guest, Dr. Keshab Shakya. He is the scholar and he is the ex-minister of federal government, as well as he is the former vice chancellor of Lumbini Development Trust. First of all, I would like to welcome to Mr. Keshab Shakya. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Pleasure.
So today is the very important day for the Buddha religion and all of the peace lovers also. And you are the Buddha followers and as well as the very good scholar of the Buddha Dharma. So how you are celebrating today the birthday of the Buddha?
Thank you very much. Today is the day the Buddha was born, as you said, 2566 years ago. And then also today is the day when he was enlightened. I mean, he discovered the knowledge of Buddhism. And this is the very day and he expired. He parinirvana. So he left
the same day, yeah?
Yes. So it is the auspicious day where three very important events happened in the life of Buddha. So the Buddhists take this as a holy day. Now all over the world now this Baisakha day they call Vaishakha because it is a Baisakha full moon day. So United Nations also has recognized this as a Vaishakha day when everywhere in the world
they celebrate
the birth and this not only birth, enlightenment and parinirvana.
Yeah.
So in Nepal also now this is the day where almost all Nepalese, regardless of whether Buddhist or non-Buddhist, because Buddha is not a sectorial religious person, because his message is pertinent and relevant to almost all living beings. So people, whatever religion they profess, but Buddha they respect. So this is a day where everybody remembers him and then
as a symbol of the peace, as a symbol of the harmony, and symbol of the unity also.
Yes.
And today one is the very important day for Nepalese, that Indian Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi now visited today in Lumbini and he started their newly built monastery. So how you are analyzing these initiatives?
Yes, this is very much important for Nepal and India, and hope that this will be a historical day in future for the whole world. Because India and Nepal, these two countries are very important for the Buddhism. Because Buddha was born in Nepal, and then Buddha got enlightenment in India, Bodh Gaya. And Buddha first time he delivered
his speech,
the speech in Sarnath, Banaras, and then also he expired in Kushinagar. So these four places in the last day, I mean when Buddha was almost going to expire, so he told to the Sangha that people in future, those who revere Buddhism, those who love Buddhism, they will remember these four places, and then will come and get inspired.
So now it called the Buddha circuit also,
Yes. Now in the modern day, these places are not only for the Buddhist pilgrimage, but for everybody. Those who
peace lovers, all scholars.
So these are like important tourist places as well, and they get inspired being there. So India and Nepal now at the 21st century, this is like a reawakening of Buddhism. This 21st century is like restarting. Buddhism was in 2000 years ago. Buddhism spread. It was very influential in the South Asia region, from Afghanistan to Burma. But in the meantime, it has spread all over the world. But then, a lot of things happen in history. And in India and Nepal, Buddhism became weak. And in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Buddhism disappeared because of the different historical events. But now what is happening is people are now coming to Buddhism because Buddhism has a message for peace, for world peace, because they try to, they are not, Buddhism tries to minimize the conflicts, harmony, brotherhood.
There is minimum of the discrimination, I think.
Yeah. So we see that just a month ago, Pakistan embassy in Nepal, they also published a book on Buddhist, heritages of Pakistan. And then they said, although many Pakistani people follow Muhammad Islam, but they still remember the glory of the future historical, the past Pakistan as a Buddhist country. And Afghanistan is equally a very important Buddhist country. So now, of course, war is going on, but there are some people who are extremists, those who are Islamist extremists, fundamentalists. They try to destroy the Buddhist heritages. I think we remember a few years ago. But now they are realizing that that was a mistake. That was their glory, Afghanistan's past history. So in this, and Bangladesh is equally very important from the Buddhist, because there are, I think, Paharpur, there is a place called Paharpur, Champa. It was a Champa state. And it still has the ruin of the biggest stupa in the world, in Bangladesh. Very few people know. So Bangladesh people also are slowly saying that, this is our history, this is our glory. So for this, India is a big country as well as central, because it is the center is India, from where actually Buddhism is spread to Pakistan, to China, to Japan, to Southeast Asia, Indonesia. But somehow or other India lost this ownership. So slowly again India is also now after after the British have left. So 70, 80 years now gone, and now India is slowly standing on its foot, and then in realizing their real identity. So they are slowly coming and realizing the Buddhism, importance of Buddhism in India. So I think the Prime Minister Modi is also realizing. Now he is in power. He knows religion. So he knows the importance of Buddhism, and he knows the Buddhist aspect of India in the world, the role of Buddhism India can play in the world. So for that he needs to, for a complete complete circle, and Lumbini is very essential, because Buddha in the last day, he told that these 4 places are very important for Buddhists. So if only India tries to do things, it is not complete. So India and Nepal, they are complementary. So Modi has realized, I think so, Modi has realized, because as a Prime Minister he goes to the different countries, and now big wars like war in Ukraine
and Russia
and the West, and then they both are asking India to play a role. Dialogue. So Modi, then on what is the reference for Modi to bring dialogue for peace? And what he has is in his store, Buddhism is there. So he has that moral, moral strength. So that is why he wants to again bring back the glory that Buddhism can give to India. So he's giving more importance to Lumbini. He has already been to, I think, Kushinagar, Bodh Gaya and Sarnath, and this one was left. So he wants to complete his pilgrimage so that he can play. Now his next role in the world, he is a world leader now. So to become a very effective world leader, he needs to have a moral reference, on what moral ground he talks to others. So this is the Buddhism is the one where world recognizes, because this Buddhism is almost all countries in Asia had gone through Buddhism and still are active. So it is very important for Modi to have a Buddhist,
monastery and center in Nepal.
India and then Nepal is a complementary. So I think he is now trying to fulfill his responsibility. and also the heavy, the scope and opportunity that he has.
So one thing, so today which monastery is going to build, it called the India International Center for Buddhist Culture and Heritage. This name is this center's names, and it is guided by the ICCR India and IBC also, International Buddhist Confederation.
Yes.
So in these all activities, it has developed since 2010. One Indian Buddhist monk visited in the Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka advised to the Indian Buddhists, and after that IBC has formed, and they are conducting the many programs in India also. And very luckily that now at present India also going to construct the center in Nepal, Lumbini, and today it is going to finalize. And second thing, I came to know that the IBC, International Buddhist Confederation, they also sometimes organize the other network also, and they have some resolutions, and in which these resolutions are the base of the this Buddhist initiative, IBC initiative. And one resolution is very important, that working to foster greater social and gender equality and tolerance within the Buddhist dimension to the ongoing interreligious dialogue. This resolution is very important, I think. What is your opinion regarding this resolution?
Yes, this is a very important resolution, of course, and India has to play for this resolution. Now, little bit, because the center is going to be inaugurated today in Lumbini. Now let's understand Lumbini now, okay? And India's stake, why India has to construct a center, international center, Buddhist international center in Lumbini. Out of these 4 holy places, Lumbini is specific and unique because Lumbini has a master plan, and master plan is built by United Nations. So this is Lumbini is already an international center, and initiated by United Nations. Of course, hosted by Nepal and cooperated, and now it is successful. Nepal's role is also very important, has played a very important role. Now it is almost complete. So it is something different than Bodh Gaya, Sarnath or Kushinagar. They are not like United Nations initiative. But this is not only Nepal's, this is not even anybody's. This is a world property. Because United Nations has taken initiative to build. So this is a center, international Buddhist center, legitimately initiated by UN and even owned by many countries in the world. There is an international committee to oversee the overall development. So India, even though India can make many international centers in India, but it will be just Indian. But building an Indian international Buddhist center in Lumbini, so it is not Nepal. Let's be broad. We take pride, of course. This is in Nepal, and Nepal has taken ownership and helped and built, is successfully. But this is an international center, something like Geneva. UN has Geneva. High Commission, yes. So similarly, this is there's a social international, but it is a people's center, international center recognized by United Nations, and it is in Nepal, and then it is the responsibility of the Nepalese government as well. So India, build this international Buddhist center. They could have built an Indian Buddhist monastery, just few monks, and then like some other countries have. But India's movement, this is different. This is not a monastery. This is Indian International Buddhist Center. So this is automatically, naturally for India, this is a legitimate and valid Indian International Center for Buddhism. And that means through this, they can get access to all international Buddhist institutions. So this is clever, of course, and also it is naturally and it is justified. So India has to play a role. It has to take responsibility, ownership of Buddhism. So this is the right place. Lumbini is the right place. So when we talk about this Indian initiative, the Indian
ICCR and IBC,
yes. So Lumbini is naturally the best place for India. So that this is like a footstone. From there they can jump, they can access to all international, and it will be recognized equally. It is not biased. This is a very internationally neutral place.
And India and other countries are helping in Lumbini for the good purpose, and globally they are very positive towards the Nepal. But what is the Nepalese organization such as the Lumbini Development Trust and Lumbini University? What are they doing now?
They are doing fine, because Lumbini, like 50 years ago, if we remember, there was nothing. Some fields, I mean, this was devastated and abandoned place. And very lately we came to know that this was the birthplace of Buddha. And then when British was still ruling in India, this furor, there is a furor, I think in the archaeology person. He came, and then that time Keshab, Khadga Samsher was the Palpa. So they kind of came there and then worked out and then discovered this Ashoka pillar, which says very clearly that this is the place where Buddha was born. So from that day onwards, so Lumbini became very important for the world. But this was not developed. Nepal that time, no roads, no transportation, government was very small. But then when U Thant, Secretary General of United Nations, he came to Nepal, and then he visited, our government took him to Lumbini to show this Ashoka pillar, and then he got overwhelmed. He almost wept. That because Burma, he was from Burma, Myanmar, and Myanmar is a strong Buddhist country and very live. But when he saw that the birthplace of Buddha is in that abundant, nothing is there, and then he became very emotional. And also government wanted him to see that and then get UN recognition and support. So when he went back to UN, and then he formed an international committee, and then a master plan was written. So Nepal has also, it's not just one Nepal, small country cannot do a lot of things, but Nepal has facilitated and also took ownership. The King Mahendra was there, and then he was very little far-sighted. Whether some people don't like, but he was a far-sighted monarch. And then he saw that Lumbini is a very important place, and then at that time Nepal got free from Rana regime, and then Nepal. And also in India, British also has left. So India was also free for just few years only, and Nepal also got freedom from Rana, and then it was a democratic country. So for becoming an international sovereign international country in international field, Nepal did not have access. I think China did not recommend that time Nepal to be the member of the UN. So India, of course, helped us. But then, although Nepal was a member of UN, but it has no access. US came and opened a small embassy. Besides that, it was nobody know that Nepal was a country. But King Mahendra, and then with the help of UN and U Thant's master plan, he took this as a jumping ground, and then he committed that Lumbini will be built on the master plan. Master plan will be built, and then he organized the 4th World Buddhist Summit. It was first was in Sri Lanka, second in Japan or something like that, and then 4th. So Mahendra was
International Buddhist Summit was held in Nepal.
And that summit was very important because then Nepal was able to invite the delegates and the officials from all over the world. And many came, even from India also. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar.
Oh, Ambedkar.
He came, Bhimrao Ambedkar, because he just completed the writing of the Constitution in India, and then he became a Buddhist. So he also came to Nepal to project his work to the world. So Nepal became again now known to everybody, and then Nepal started building linkage, international linkage with other countries. So Buddhism was very important, very key, player, key game for Nepal. And then Mahendra played that, so that he was able to invite he was able to write to all the heads of the states in the world that, okay, World Buddhist Summit, you please come. So that way Nepal got recognized. I mean, Nepal got a space in
one of the major part of the
foreign policy. Yeah. So that way Lumbini is very important for government of Nepal, because without Lumbini, Nepal don't have that international access
and international trust also.
So even today, whenever there big things happen in Lumbini, so all the international communities and the UN is there to ensure, and the UN has today is a holiday for UN all over the world. So that way Nepal can play for its sovereign recognition in the world. So government pays. Of course, Nepal government is not very rich, So somehow or other they have been going on, but recently this master plan is almost complete now. 10 years ago I was vice chairman of the Lumbini Development Trust. That time government gave like 3-4 crores a year, that's all, 3-4 crores. But now it is 3-4 Arab.
Wow.
So all the physical infrastructures that the master plan has envisioned, they are now almost complete. Very few items are left. But so Nepal has done its duty, and also it has played the very important role that needs to be to inform the international. And then now Nepal has come to a stage that it is now at the stage of takeoff stage. For taking off stage, the physical infrastructure for Lumbini is complete, but there are more greater Lumbini is left, of course. That is the second phase. But for after the first phase, the completion of the master plan, now it is our role that there is software activities like conferences, seminars, international conference. So just the last government, and the 5 years time, so they have recognized that they need an international venue. So they just completed international conference hall where 5,000 people can accommodate. Yes, just 2 months back I was there. I saw it was excellent. In Nepal this is the largest conference hall. 5,000 people can accommodate. How 5,000? The hall has the ground, and ground has a 1 meter by 1 meter marking. 5,000 people get that marking, 1 meter by 1 meter. 5,000 square meter space is there. So this is going to be inaugurated today.
Now
today is very important, because this international conference hall is going to be inaugurated. International airport, because that is also important. We have built the international linkages, but how could they come? For coming they have to come to Tribhuvan, this airport, Kathmandu airport, and Kathmandu airport again this very intricate, very not easy. So people can directly fly to Lumbini at the Bhairava, and then 20 kilometers the access is there, so people can easily go there. So these two things, one is airport, another is conference hall. And now these are the very important physical infrastructure for the second phase, for the takeoff. So today is very historical for Nepal, that through Buddhism that we have fulfilled two very important physical. So and then today, very luckily or accidentally, or Prime Minister Modi is also coming to inaugurate the Indian this center and also visit Lumbini. So today is very important for Nepal. So from today onwards we are going to take off now.
And today we both Keshab, I am Keshab Chaulagain, guest and host are both are the Keshab, and we are discussing about this importance of this event.
Right.
And one thing, So now the new kind of the challenges and new kind of opportunity has started in Nepal.
Yes.
In opportunity, you already explained that the building of the conference hall and building of the new international airports and it started the new international center and promoted by the India. And this is our good opportunity and some challenges that the India, Nepal and then globally it is the time going to start the new kind of the violence and this kind of the war. This is the very terrible period. So regarding this all situation, how we can play the peace initiative according this rituals, according to Buddhist knowledge, Hindu knowledge and other also indigenous knowledge, how we can unite and how we can play for the global peace.
Yes, this is now a new challenge for Nepal. I think 10 or 12 years back, Nepal held another international World Buddhist Summit, 13th World Buddhist Summit, I think. That time, this World Buddhist Summit in Lumbini has declared by the government of Nepal that Lumbini is the fountainhead of world peace.
Wow.
So that is the vision of Lumbini. Lumbini is not only there for visiting the holy place and then pay respect to Buddha, but this in actively, dynamically, the Lumbini's role is to actually promote the world peace, because Lumbini as the legitimate center for dialogue in world peace. So this international conference hall is important, and also this Indian Buddhist center can play vital role. But now a new challenge, that the capacity of the Nepalese people. There is another important thing that the Lumbini Development Trust has. That is the international Buddhist prize, like Nobel Prize. We have a Peace Prize.
Award.
Peace Award, yes, Nobel. Because only one we have afford. But due to some capacity problem within the Nepalese, we have not that every 4 years it is supposed to announce this Peace Award, Lumbini Peace Award, Lumbini International Peace Award, Gautam Buddha International Peace Award. But this is another area that we recognize the peace initiatives taken all over the world, and then we will give a Buddhist Nobel Prize. Equivalent to Buddhist Nobel Prize for peace, and Lumbini will be is the center. So there are these big things in our plate for Nepal to act. So the challenge is the capacity, the capability of the Nepalese government, Nepalese people, Nepalese scholars,
Nepalese
practitioners. All we have to come. Spiritual people, regardless of which religion they belong to. So Lumbini is an opportunity for Nepal to get recognized all over the world for the peace activities, peace initiatives. But this is, like you said, challenge, opportunity, of course. But then it is up to us whether Nepalese have that ability or to demonstrate that we are capable of and trustworthy.
Because we have completed the research in 2004 when Nepal was facing the Maoist insurgency. That time I completed the research, role of religion and spirituality in peace building process.
Right.
So this research has played a very important role, particularly in global universities, global international agencies. And after that, I again write on the books also, Celestial Span and Conflict, this kind of the new area of the conflict, new area of the knowledge of the conflict. So my expectation was to adopt the peace education, our own peace education for the world peace. And so I have also written this one book, which is the heritage, Hamro Sampada, in Nepali, Hamro Sampada, heritage, our heritage. This heritage mentioned only the limited areas of Lalitpur district. There is the Hindu and Buddhist heritage sites are included here, and very historical. And all things are now at present it not working properly. So to preserve them, to highlight them, how we can work according the academically through the university and according the municipality. Do you have any idea?
This you said the heritages, that is like art. You know? And the Buddhist art, of course, spiritual. Of course, we have also Hindu and Buddhist. Lot of temples.
The tangible and intangible heritage side.
All these are actually, based upon or say charged by Buddhism and Hinduism. These art, archaeology, architect.
They're the physical concept,
but also non-intangible like music or art, and also food, cloth or behavior or even the
rituals, festivals,
everything. Now these are all projected through based on the Buddhist and the Hindu philosophies. Good things. Now this is for the actually happiness of life. Man is different from animals. Other animals, they have just nature. What nature has given them, they live. But human beings, they are creative. They are not just from birth to death. They just eat and procreate and just it is not that enough. But they make life meaningful. So they create art, philosophy, culture, rituals, social patterns, and even the ruling, the nationalities, nations concept. So for that, the base is actually the spiritual, thing. Spiritual is religion is the structural spiritualism. Just when you say spiritualism, it is something like emotional aspects only. But when you say religion, then it is a structural things. It tries to put that into rules and regulations. So this is actually the ultimate end is to make man's life meaningful and
happy and completely.
And Nepal, in that sense, is very rich.
Very rich, yeah.
You mentioned about the heritages of Kathmandu, the temples, the monasteries, and many others. The drums and music and everything. And in Nepal, the Nepalese people, they really don't realize that they are born and then they grow up, enjoy, and then they die. They even don't realize that they have survived. It's so easy, so happily they pass their life. Not because Nepalese people are simple and they are happy, they are smiling. Poverty and richness doesn't count. Even the poor man, is very happy and then smiling and enjoying the life, culture, everything. So this Buddhism and Hinduism is very rich in that terms. So the heritages that you have recognized. So Lumbini is only 50-60 years that we are rebuilding, and then in the modern world we are projecting Lumbini for a different meanings and then the value. But we have been living a life for thousands of years. Like Kathmandu's history says, Buddha's time, people have started, the urban culture in Kathmandu Valley. And then from that onwards, the aided of all the art, architecture and, philosophy, literature, everything, music. And then now but recently it has some degradation had taken place because now it is intermingling because of all from different parts of the world, people come, and then in the 60s, you remember the hippies. Hippies came, but they ultimately Kathmandu became their destiny. The hippie culture that built up from Europe, from France and everything, they went all over the world, but ultimately they found their destiny. They became their search
in Nepal
was fulfilled in Kathmandu, in Nepal. Of course, it has so many bad impacts because they have a different philosophy. They are guided by Sartre's nothingness, something like that. Because they said life nothing, so they just want to enjoy. But where they found a place to enjoy the culture, the people, they came to Kathmandu. But now it is gone, of course. So the Nepalese people have built up, created such a huge, endowments of happiness that anybody can come and find their destiny here.
That's one thing. This is the time when the scholar and the rulers also started to talk about the civilization here. In China, 2019, Mr. Xi Jinping, President of China, has organized the one Asian Civilization Dialogue, with the collaboration of the UNESCO in China. It was, and maybe the 45 countries were participated there, and it was a very good example in the latest era. And the same year in the in India, it called the Kartarpur Corridor. Kartarpur Corridor from Pakistan to India to Pakistan. 4.7 kilometer from Indian border to Gurudwara. This between the one corridor, it called the Kartarpur Corridor, was also inaugurated. And now the Indian International Center is going to start in Nepal. So this kind of the initiative in our border, one India and China and the Nepal, how we can use this network in future for the regional security and peace?
I think this is a new thing that you are pointing out. It is actually India's interest, India's relation, India's diplomacy, or religious diplomacy, cultural diplomacy with its neighbors. Because at present, all the neighbors of India are not in good relations, because they have conflict with Pakistan. And of course, Bangladesh is not that conflicting, but still. And then recently, Nepal also had some problems. Sri Lanka, they had some problems. So India needs to really revive or say review its
neighbor policy,
cultural diplomacy with the neighbors, neighbor policy. And then definitely, the borders, Indian borders and neighbors are like Nepal almost doesn't have a, no need of passport or, visa. So it's an open border. Actually, India, for its security, they should build a relationship with neighbors like Nepal and India. Actually, there are few small things, but actually no problem. We don't have security problems. Real
friendship. Kind of good.
So actually, in future, for India's the glory and also security, India should build with its neighbors. Nepal and India relation is a model. Is an example. So they should try to build a neighbor relationship, and then to start with, it is the people's the religious pilgrimage. People can go there, and then like you said, Kartarpur Gurudwara, the Sikh people from Punjab, they can, because that is a very important, and these are luckily. These are there. Lumbini is there in Nepal. So Sri Lanka has also. So Bangladesh also has important places. So there should be a religious travelers or religious tourists going to and fro, and soft border should be built. So this is the India's initiative. India should take India is the big country. So this is very right that India is taking a positive step for this cultural diplomacy with Pakistan. And with Nepal it is easy, whenever they want they can open. So Nepal never says no. So like Lumbini, we were waiting for Indian initiatives, for long time back, but they were busy in some, or they could not proceed. But now with Modi, and they found that this is a very important aspect, of the relationship. So Lumbini is going to be, build up. The relationship with Lumbini is going to be built. Similarly, Kartarpur Gurudwara. So this is now good things that India is starting a good diplomacy with its neighbors, cultural democracy.
And at my experience, because I have also spent many years regarding this religious and cultural initiatives, and I found that we need the good actors also, And at present, some monks who are the intellectuals, some monks who are the very trustful, they are working. And as well as we need the very good scholars. Scholars initiative, intellectual initiative are more important, and to maintain the all relation. So do you have any examples, experience that the Indian and Nepalese scholars are commonly working in this area, particularly the cultural diplomacy to build the Indo-Nepal relation? Do you have any example?
Some whenever we had, like in Lumbini, we had international Buddhist conference, and then we invited the scholars, and they came to present their speeches or papers, so all over the world. And then we invited as much as possible from India, like 10-12 Indian universities where the professors are teaching Buddhism and Pali literature. So we invited them. They maybe about more than a dozen professors came and participated. So this way there could be a exchange of scholars to India and also to Nepal. At people's level, not only at the institutional level, this needs to be intensified or needs to be increased. But at people's level, like many Nepalese people go to India, like Sarnath or in Kushinagar. The revival of Theravada in Nepal. It is about 70-80 years only. So this was started because there was a Theravada monastery in Kushinagar, and then the Theravada monks, initial monks, had problem with the Rana government that time. They were expelled actually. They didn't know. The Rana people didn't know that. They thought that this is something strange, different, because Theravada was there in Sri Lanka, Burma, and also some India, and they expelled them. It was So they had to. When they were expelled, they went to India. India is the refuge because open border, and then they went to a Theravada monastery in Kushinagar, and then from there they found the refuge, and from there they again came back to Nepal and spread theories. So there is this kind of exchanges there. In past, Kathmandu was a center for scholars. Those who go to China and Tibet, the Indian scholars come to Kathmandu, and then from there they go. So there is at the larger scale in future, because we have to also build a bridge between China and India. And Nepal is the right location, strategic location. So in like 1,000 years ago, when the Indian scholars went to China via Nepal, and then the Chinese scholars came to India, and then they also came to Nepal, like Wensang. So this exchange of scholars at this global level have to happen. And then Nepal can play, like between China, because across the Himalayas, that side China, Tibet, Japan of course can now come. But a very intensive and close relationship between Chinese and Indian, that will even ensure the world security. So Nepal is the bridge. So Nepal can play that also, but not presently, immediately, but as the need will rise. China also will need this, India also will need this. They will feel that they need to be close, and then Buddhism is the means for them to.
And one thing very discussable, that is the World Fellowship of Buddhist Organization is also working globally. So what is the relation between the Nepal and World Fellowship Buddhist?
Yes, when World Fellowship of Buddhist was organized, this was organized by Sri Lanka. Actually, it was started because Sri Lanka.
Now the headquarters is Thailand.
Now it is in Thailand, but it was started in Sri, because this was like during 1950s, early, when British was about to leave, and then Sri Lanka played an important role. Sri Lanka played kind of a cultural role to connect the West and the East. So Sri Lanka had that capacity. So like Colonel Henry Olcott, an American, because there was something happened, Buddhism and Christians, they had some kind of interaction in Sri Lanka, and then it was the Buddhists in Sri Lanka challenged the Christians, and then that event became a starting point. The Buddhism went to West, and Sri Lanka became the center. So to legitimize that, the world, they needed a world connection place, and then Sri Lanka took the initiative to form a World Buddhist Federation, World Buddhist Fellowship, World Fellowship of Buddhists. And then the first conference was held in Sri Lanka, and then Japan was another who was taking role. So, and then Thailand was there. Now Thailand is a very strong Buddhist country. So the fourth conference took place in Nepal. So Nepalese Venerable Amritananda, very famous Theravada monk, a pioneer. So he was studying in Sri Lanka, and he was in connection with these Sri Lankan, like Malala Shekhara was the initiative. So that way, Nepal was a founder member of this World Fellowship of Buddhists. And then now, the headquarters is in Thailand, and this is still active. And Nepal is the regional center of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, because Nepal can even represent the South Asian region. So Dharmoday Sabha is the institution in Nepal, and that is the institutional member of the World Fellowship of Buddhists. Okay. So we have a dynamic, because I am also one of the vice president of the Dharmoday Sabha. So we are very part of the World Fellowship of Buddhists.
And today is the birthday of the Guru Gorakhnath also. Guru Gorakhnath is very famous in Nepal and India.
Yes, sure.
And now the Chief Minister of the Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Yogi Adityanath, is also followers of the Guru Gorakhnath.
Yes.
And today is the birthday of the Guru Gorakhnath also.
Right.
And today is the very important day for the indigenous Kirati also and Hindu also, because Udoli Uboli, this is the full moon day. Full moon day, various Hindu community, Nepalese community, they celebrate today as they are very festivals, holy festivals. And many other jatra also going to held today. So in my research in 2004, I had proposed one slogan that stop the violence in festive days. Religiously whole year is festive days, so there is no single day for violence.
Yes.
So every day we are celebrating and festive days, sometimes Hindu, sometimes Muslim, sometimes Christian, sometimes Buddhist, sometimes Guru Gorakhnath, and in the western part the mosques are also there. So very many, all cultural groups, religious groups are celebrating the festivals in every day. So this terminology we can use to maintain the peace, particularly the political violence. We can stop the political violence and arms violence with this kind of the initiative.
Yes.
So how we can include these slogans in the academically, which can teach in future through the Buddhist university?
That is violence is the opposite of peace. When Buddhism talks about peace, and then Buddhism talks about why violence should not be encouraged. Because when first initially when somebody becomes a Buddhist, so he takes vows that he will revere Buddha, he will revere Dhamma, and he will revere Sangha. That Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami means he will accept these as the guiding principle. But these are the principles. But at the behavior, now just accepting principle, but you have to behave, you have to act. And then Panchashil is 5 precepts. So the first is non-violence. So I will not kill anybody. So violence is killing, So not only human beings, killing human beings, but even the animals. Because Buddhism thinks that animals, human beings, they are all the members of the nature. So actually human beings don't need to kill animals to fill their stomach. Nature has produced abundant food stuff, fruits, cereals, all these things, and they are more nutritious, and you really don't have to eat animals. So this first precept is non-violence or not killing. Second is not stealing. When you take somebody, then he becomes very unhappy. So we talk about happiness. The happiness is we just respect each other's property. Third is sexual misconduct. Because sexual misconduct is the happiness of the family. When somebody in the family does sexual misconduct, the family harmony breaks down. Then if you don't have family, then your life is miserable. So the fourth is the truth. You don't lie. Because the whole world is actually based on trust. how do we communicate each other. If I tell you something which is not true, and then you will not trust me. So if people don't trust each other, this world is going to be violent again. So to make trust, then what you speak has to be truthful. You should not lie, you should not deceive. So the fourth is then intoxication, drugs, alcohol, because they will manipulate your body, and then you tend to do violence, you tend to do sexual misconduct, you tend to do lie, you tend to speak lie, and then you tend to steal or grab somebody's property. So all these things happen when you take intoxications like alcohol, drugs. So these are the 5 simple things that you try to minimize, and you try to. Buddha doesn't say it's not a rule, but it is education. You say that these are the things you need to avoid if you want to become happy, or you want to create a happy family, or you want to create a happy society, or you want to create a happy world. So this violence is, when you talk about violence, then these are the related things, and it has to stop the violence. Buddhism provides you a package. So when these simple things are respected by us, the violence automatically goes down. And so today is Baisakha Day, and during Rana's time also, Rana Prime Minister, then he said that today there will be no sacrifice of animals, and all the meat shops will be closed. But now people have forgotten. But first thing the Rana regime did for this Buddhism, the revival of Buddhism or Theravada influence, is that on this day all the meat shops should be closed. That means the animals will not be killed or sacrificed for meat, for eating meat. So there had been some initiatives, but in a democratic government setup, it is very difficult. So it is a self-educational process. So by making a government rule that you are not allowed to kill, but people will kill just behind the doors. So it is not practical. So Buddhist approach is to educate, to make them understand that this is not good. So when we say violence, of course the war, that is the bigger scale is war. You mentioned about the violence, the violence and war. In Buddha's message, there are 4 truths. Then the 4th truth is the way, Astangik Marga. 8 component, the path has 8 and one component is called right livelihood. That means earning. How do you earn for you to survive? Then you should not do, you should do good things only to earn money, and then to survive, to feed your family. You should not do bad things, like you should not cheating, or say you should not do a prostitution for survival. Then this is not a good livelihood. You should not sell weapons which kill human beings. So a larger scale, today the war is escalated because some big countries produce and killing machines, the guns and the missiles, and then they need war to sell to get their market. Like US is the biggest producer of the weapons, and then they become rich by selling the weapons. So the Buddha's Astangik Marga, one of the Astangik Marga is right livelihood. In that right livelihood, he says you should not make your livelihood by selling weapons. And another says you should not sell intoxicants, poisons, alcohol, and then you should not make living that. And another says you should not sell flesh, means meat. You should not kill animals and sell the meat shop. So that is also not a good livelihood. So he said in right livelihood there are 4-5 things that you should not do business out of it, and then that will create the violence or the disturbance in the world. So Buddhism is an educating system. It's not, you cannot make a rule. How can you make a rule? You say that okay, you cannot sell weapons, But how can you control United States? Because that is the one who, not only United States, but maybe Russia also sells. India buys a lot of missiles from Russia. Yes. So this whole world's war problem is beyond that. But the Buddha has said in a simplistic way that for livelihood, you should not produce weapons and sell it.
Yeah, and the Panchashila was the main objectives of the non-aligned organization. Yeah, yes. India, Nepal was also the member of the non-alignment organization. Yes. Yeah, so now still it is important, I think. And but the day to day, by the big powers are including to the all small countries, and they are trying to include in their organization. Yeah, so but for the world peace, the Panchashila was accepted by the non-alignment all organization to the very good things. And at present, do you have any comparative study about the curriculum of peace in India and Nepal?
No, I don't know anything that is going on with institutional interests. I'm not aware of. Maybe that needs to be again revived. And then this Lumbini could be the center for India also.
Yes,
for India itself, in India they study, it may not be that important, but when they take study or initiative from Lumbini, then it becomes an international aspect.
Yeah. So as I know that as a writer, I had studied about the curriculum of the Sikkim University, Central Universities, Peace Studies Centers. And I found that very good materials are included there, particularly for the conflict management perspective, and they have included the interreligious perspective and gender perspective and other religious teachings also included in their peace educations. Yeah, but in Nepal, I couldn't found that kind of the strong measures of for the peace education. So in future, we have to pressure or we have to concern to make the good curriculum for the peace education.
Definitely, we have to take initiatives, but we should not blame or we should not wait for government to take action. But the things have to be started by people like us. That you and me, 2 persons, and then there are some others. So 4 or 5 persons meet, and then they started taking some initiatives, some steps, some workshop, some discussion forum, and slowly it becomes a seminar, and then it becomes conference, and then we ask the government to help or to take actions or to take initiatives. So it has to go up. But government of Nepal, Nepal is still a building. It's not a complete. The building part is not complete. Nation building part. So Nepal has been going through all the political process, evolution, development. But now, as the Lumbini is ready to take off, I think Nepal is also ready to take off. So, but government itself will not take off, because it's not the bureaucrats who will take initiative. It has to be political persons, those who come to the positions. But they themselves, they have been busy in building a political parties. So they know how to fight election. They know how to organize people into their community, into their organizations.
So okay, thank you, Dr. Keshab Shakya ji. You came in our studio and discussed about all concerns issues, and particularly we celebrated the 2566 birthday of the Lord Buddha today. And we try to know each others and explain about our knowledge to the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much for you and your television.
So our audience, today we conducted the one discussion with the Dr. Keshab Shakya. He is the ex-minister, and he is the scholar, and he is the former vice chairman of the Lumbini Development Trust also. And in future, we will continue for the good purpose in future, and we try to understand each others, and we have to do something for the world peace as well as the national peace through the culture and religion. Thank you. Welcome.